Well, listen, I'm not live currently from the London Stadium. We will be live from the London Stadium, so I'll leave that on for when Russ comes on. We're just having a look at Jared Bowen because West Ham have drawn 1-1 with Championship side Bristol City. Do you know what? A crap second half performance from West Ham, and I'll hold my hands up. Bristol City came there and absolutely knew what they were doing against West Ham. What they did was they threw everything at us. Physical game in the first half. They frightened us. They were all over us. You know, sometimes some tackles were going in. People went unbooked, unchallenged, all that sort of stuff. But to be honest with you, we looked frightened. We genuinely looked frightened. And we allowed some of their players, whom I disrespected at a certain part in the first half, to come out on top in the second half and give us a performance that they deserve to walk away with something from. We actually had nothing in that second half at all. In actual fact, I would say we had nothing in that 75 to 70 minutes in that game. It's a really, really disappointing performance from us. And that's with a full strength West Ham team. It is. It's a full strength West Ham team out there. And players need to hold their heads high. I mean, listen, there's concerns throughout the team that this is what this game has taught me. Defensively, we have problems. We don't have the strength and depth that we think at some point we thought we had. I think a lot of us have known that for a little while. We don't have the strength and depth. We've got, unfortunately, an aging Ogbonna who's playing side a concerning Zuma because of his injury. They're quite slow defensively. We were playing 3 central defensive midfielders. None of them were playing in an advanced role. Usually we see James Ward-Prowse play in that advanced role. And unfortunately, when you don't have that creativity, and Paqueta, who came off in the first half injured, and Kudos, who's gone to AFCON, we struggle. We really struggle. And it's shown that we're desperate for those players in the middle of the park. Because as much as these players do turn up when they need to turn up and the problem is when we don't turn up badly. We don't turn up badly. Now, I'm not comparing it's not a great result. It's really not a great result because it's the level of performance that I'm questioning. It's the level of performance. There's no clear-cut passes. Bristol City at times made us look like the Championship side because they played the ball out from the back. We looked like we were constantly worried from playing that ball from the back line because every time we got the ball, from the back line, sorry, 2 seconds, everyone. Sorry, hold on a second. Hold on again. Right, that's it now. Sorry. So every time we get the ball from our back line, we could not play the ball from the back. It was a panic. They would play the ball over to Emerson, he'd smash the ball clear. They'd play the ball to Zuma, he'd smash the ball clear. They'd play the ball to Ogbonna, he'd smash the ball clear. They'd play the ball to Fabianski, they'd smash the ball clear. But every single time O'Leary got the ball, every single time the defence of Bristol City got the ball, they would play that little kind of diamond triangular role to get the ball out of a deep lying position. And it really... It looked untidy. Now, listen, that's not taken away from the fact that we had chances. We could have put the game to bed because let's be honest with you, O'Leary made 3 world-class saves in that game. I think maybe 3 or 4 world-class saves. We should have put the game to bed, but really really crap performance from West Ham and allowed Bristol City to dictate the game. They dictated the full game, and it's baffling, to be honest, why that's happened today. I can't comprehend the situation there today, to be honest. So the full stats are 57% possession from West Ham to 43% possession to Bristol City. West Ham had 17 shots to Bristol City's 11. We had 4 on target to Bristol City's 5. We should have put the game to bed in the first half because that's when we had the better play. But what's concerning is now we've walked away with guaranteed 2 injuries, with the possibility that Bowen's picked up something there and it could be a rollover on his ankle. And that would be massively, 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 massively disappointing. So many comments in here. Let me jump into the comments and see what else is there. Wait, hold on a second. Let me see here. Let me just do this. 2 seconds, everybody. I'm just going to see someone in the chat. So let me just send this out. Bowen is still down. He is. We'll just have to wait and see what the situation is. One word comes to mind. It's dross. Peter Chelmsford said Moyes out. Moyes played for the draw. He thinks he can go there and win. Let me see here. There you go. Moyes out from Epic Hashtime. Shocking display. Played off the park. Well done, Bristol City. LS Moyes out. That sitter from Ings, 125k a week. I get it, Simon. Like, it's so disappointing. And the thing is, I don't know how much it impacts him being cup tied to sell on, but that in itself should confirm why he needs to go. Um, the Cornet situation, I think he should have played a lot earlier. To be honest, probably would have been a really good game for him to start, but it doesn't happen. John Brown, we were was rubbish. Should have lost it. To be honest, a draw. And now we have Bowen and Paqueta out as well as Kudos. Moyes needs to go. Is Bowen injured? We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Fingers crossed. It's just it didn't look great because the tackle came in. It looked like it was a roll of the ankle, and he stayed down. So we're just going to wait and see what happens. LS Photography says Sullivan out. LS Photography says Brady out. Mandy says looks like it. Joan. Sell by date is gone for Moyes. It's time for a change this summer. Moyes out. Joan looks like it. We will be okay at their place. We can revert back to the low block. Mandy, I am speechless from Joan. Absolute rubbish from Bear X. We need players in this window. Everyone out. Yeah. I just wonder if you convert some of those chances, do we look at that situation differently? I don't know. The performance, no. We'd rather have lost than have 3 injuries. Doesn't look like real serious. Looks like it's a bad knock. Bowen is out injured now. What happens next? We have to wait and see. And here, we don't know 100% know. Michael Blaze, 1 player missing, Kudos, and we go to pot. It was terrible. If Bowen's injured, we're in trouble. Brady out. Mickey Smith. Moyes did not play for a draw. He has no ideas without Paqueta and Kudos. Bowen doing their own thing. There's no excuse from George for that shit show. Moyes out now. Can't believe we drew with a full first team squad. A 2-week out knock. Moyes, Sullivan, Brady out now from Ruby Tuesday. Great tactical performance from Mr. Moyes. He doesn't want the players to have a break next week and stay match fit. Now we can go there with half of our main team out. We went stronger than I thought, not now got a double injury. Ings and Cornet look more interested than Mbama. Yeah, it's a tough position to play in if I'm being honest with you with Mbama. You're talking about someone who's not a senior pro, who's been working under this current system for many a year, who's young, enthusiastic, that's got to have to work lines. He's going to have to drop back in. He's going to have to do all that stuff that he's not used to doing. And he was up top predominantly himself. It's always going to be tough. And I don't know if we can make that judgment on him yet. He probably needs the experience of maybe a full season under his belt at the championship level. Possibly, if we can bring another striker in, then so be it. But we'll have to wait and see. Note my commitment. None of these players wanted to be there today. No captain on the pitch. We get outpassed by everyone. It's ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. It was so clear today to see how well they can play the ball out from the back line. They were calm and composed, and that's something we definitely didn't offer, especially in the back line, and that's something we need to address. We definitely need to address that. Mbama was shocking. Give Matt Moyes a lifetime contract. They were on us. Moyes doesn't need another striker. Mbama was non-existent. Mbama couldn't win a header. Bless. Ings and Cornet will have to play in the replay now. Bristol City were dirty but played well. Well, do you know what? That was their tactics in the first half. They were going to frighten West Ham. And that's what they've done. And then West Ham came out in the second half as if we were frightened. That's what we looked. We looked scared to play Bristol City. Genuinely, that's the truth. Do our train with the ball. Mbama out. That's right. Peter, no leader on the pitch. Absolutely. Defensively problematic because they're so slow from the back. They can't play the ball out. Danny Ings was useless. Bring back Big Fat Sam. 9,000 travelling fans, and I'm pleased for them, travelled on a Sunday. We should be ashamed of that performance from Joan. Ings out. If I was a child and went to watch that on a £1 ticket, I'd still want compensation. It's how we've played all season. Shit beats. What other managers survived 2 heavy 5-goal defeats and draw in the championship side? Our under 23s would have played better. They ain't been Moyes yet. Moyes out from David Hume. Hate to say it myself, but Mbama needs a loan. Suchek and JWP useless in the midfield. Yeah, just could not get involved. Just couldn't get involved. It was funny. They outplayed us. The Bristol City fan that Russ had on said that, if Bristol can come into this game and control the midfield, then they'll come out and do well, and that's exactly what they did. They controlled the midfield. They dominated, and we could not get a hold of the ball at all. I do think we cause a lot of our concerns because we can't play the ball from the back. Simple. It's the new way of playing, and we can't do it. And yeah, people get really pissed off with that. I mean, the goal that Conway scored for Bristol City was fantastic because the ball that went through the middle of the park penetrated our defence. Nobody could get to it. Ogbonna so slow. Suma so slow. He needs a run in the team. We've got Super David Moyes, Hammers Mikey. That's the way you do it. Moyes, take off Fornals, who's one of our better creative players, but keep that donkey Suchek on and done fuck all game. Could cost us late on. Give Divine a chance. Moyes didn't have anything to do with our performance today. Players didn't turn up. Yeah, I agree with you as that as well. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you don't put out that team, then so be it. If you do put out that team, then so be it. But essentially, the big concern is that the level of intensity at home in the FA Cup on a Sunday afternoon with your full strength team out, and when you are lacking our two most creative players in Paqueta, and obviously who created the first goal and then came off injured, and Kudos, then we definitely need plan Bs. I think I'd be in the market looking for that if I could. How the hell can Sullivan give Moyes a new contract after that performance? But they're not basing it, and I get the frustration from fans, but they're not going to base it on the one game or even the 3 games. They're going to look at the whole bigger picture, of course. Like, Moyes, you are clueless. Just go for Man Kane. Mbama has been given so many chances now, didn't show anything. Ings and Moyes out. Mbama not good enough. Sullivan out from Gary J. We've got Moyes. I agree, Mandy, but he needs a loan so he doesn't get corrupted by Moyes. Shouldn't have taken Fornals off. Stephen Sprague says, we'll never change until we have a clear out Moyes, and the board change long overdue. Starting to be pathetic about West Ham performances under Moyes. A lot of players there need to hold their heads up and think, well, did I put in a performance today? They gave the ball away a lot. Let me see if I've got some of these stats for you now. I mean, let's look at. Listen, I love him. Let's look at Alvarez. Today, he won a quarter of his ground duels. He didn't win any aerial duels. He lost possession 10 times in that game as well. Peter Chelmsford says, even if we get through 4th round, we'd be on the 27th of January. Weekend, so many games for a shit squad. Right. We're going to be going live over to the London Stadium. So let me bring in the man himself, DJ Russ.
What can you say, man? It was not good. Not good. Not good at all.
It's yeah, he's a bit speechless, to be honest, and to be honest, I feel like I am as well. The first half for us, right, was a little bit like a WWE match. You know, Bristol came in and maybe that was their tactics. Let's frighten West Ham. Let's show them that we can play a physical game. That's what they did. They got away with it. And we came out scared from the second half. And really, to be honest, the difference for me, Russ, was that Bristol can play the ball from the back and we couldn't.
I think the difference was, I think the first 20, 25 minutes, I thought we were playing well. And then as soon as Paqueta went off, that was the difference. Because then we had no creativity, we had, it's just nothing. It was just like, and we were full of beans the first 20 minutes for sure, absolutely full of beans. And once again, keep saying it, we miss. This is the type of game that you would have had, Craig Dawson or someone just in there just to knock some heads together a bit. Do you know what I mean? We're starting to lose our heads a little bit, and we haven't got. I don't think Zoom was the type of rah captain sometimes, and so when they were knocking it about and putting a foot in, we were trying to retaliate, but we're not. We were retaliating then. So you're always second best. To be honest, Bristol came and did a job on us. Simple.
Yeah.
And in the second half, they knew that they could get pace over the side because we've got no pace in centre backs when Mab went off. And so they just played a simple game, really, second half against us.
It's an interesting one. It's really, really interesting because I think that what's really quite clear to see is that we do have defensive issues. Now the fact that Mavropanos has gone off injured, I mean, hopefully it's just like a wind, but the thing is, the tackle itself does make it looks like he landed full force on his chest. So there could be like a broken rib there or something like that. He obviously came off really uneasy. The problem is the strength and depth is Ogbonna, who has been performing, but you can't rely on Ogbonna. So as much as he's been performing over the last couple of games, we can't become reliant on him. And when you play him and Zuma in the back line, Russ, they don't want to play ball. They can't play ball. And what we lack when we lose a player like Paqueta is the ability for Emerson to play the ball. because Emerson likes that link-up play with Paqueta, and they can be creative and get forward. But there was that element of panic in our defence today, and Bristol were taking risks by playing the ball out from the back, but we're doing well by getting the ball out of dangerous positions. But Russ, the difference between West Ham and Bristol today was that we were punting the ball forward, and Bristol were playing the ball to feet.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, we looked. I think when you're totally right, and I think if you go and watch the game, watch the goal that they scored, Oggy went ball watching. You know, an experienced centre half went ball watching, and it was coming, and it was coming. You know, and we saw it was coming. And I think the thing is, when we saw it looked like it was coming because he then put was going to put Johnson and Cresswell. I don't know what Cresswell would have done, but it seemed that you could see it was coming. And you can see the momentum, but it was too slow again, and that's the issue now. And also, at the end, Bowen goes down, Bowen hobbles off. You know, he was sort of helped back off under the tunnel with a couple of the fitness guys. So he might have a knock now, and so it's.
Well, I was just gonna ask you. I was going to ask you, Russ, because obviously we saw the final whistle. The cameras focused on Bowen. They saw him getting up. Now, what did you see once the cameras left?
Well, he went down and he came up and he had a couple of guys. I mean, he was hobbling really badly, and so, but you know, still managed to shake a few Bristol City players' hands as he was walking. But he went straight in. He didn't do anything like he usually was, just a little lap of the pitch. It was straight down and straight in the tunnel. So I'm sure we'll find out what's happened. Because we will get a press conference because we've got a replay now next week, which is not.
Well, that's the thing, though. We thought we were going to have a 2 week. We thought we were going to have a 2 week break from football, but now we've regained the game. And to be honest, as much as it's a pain in the arse, it's what the players deserve. The players deserve
exactly.
That. If you're gonna give that performance, then do you know what? Go to Ashton Gate and fight for fucking something. Because I said that in the game today, Russ. I said that I really want the FA Cup. I'd love the FA Cup, mate.
We would, and I think again, I think all the fans would. But and to be fair, I thought the team was set up to try and do that. The team was set up to try and get the win. It's as strong as possible. None of the kids, apart from Mbama, was in the squad at all. So it clearly was. We got a squad of senior professionals to come and have a go, and it just didn't, mate. It just didn't, and it was just like from. And it started off bright. We scored early. We had a couple of chances even before then. And then as soon as Paqueta went off, it looked like all the heads went down and something changed. And then Bristol City got new life. And they went back to their game plan. I don't think they anticipated us playing such a strong side, in all honesty. And yeah, they did a number. Liam Manning coming back to haunt us, really. And I, to be honest, don't surprise me if we go to Ashton Gate and we get turned over, to be honest, because you look back at it now, if Paqueta's, are they going to risk playing Paqueta? Is he, we don't know how bad his knock is. We don't know how bad Mav's knock is. We don't know how bad Bowen's knock is. And so, and the under-21s, under-18s have got some massive games coming up as well. The under-18s have got the FA Youth Cup on Friday, and the under-21s have got the quarters of the EFL trophy. So, mate, it's the worst case scenario has happened. And so, yeah, they're not getting that week off. They're going to be back in on Monday. And yeah,
but do you know what, Russ? Do you know what, Russ? So be it. They fucking deserve it. It was Bristol, a crap result. It was, and Bristol. In the first half, I felt like we like you said, we had the better of the play for the first 20 minutes. We allowed Bristol to get back into the game, but essentially we both walked off and it was like, yeah, fair result. West Ham winning 1-0. O'Leary made a couple of fantastic saves from Bristol City. Yeah. Let's not beat about the bush there. He kept them in the game from making that, and proper good saves as well, like proper good saves. That baby crying is not from my household, by the way. That's at the London Stadium, in case you are wondering. But the second half performance really was just lacking of energy, lacking of any ideas, and the players need to take that responsibility. They need to go away, and they deserve to go and play another game next week and try and turn in Yeah, they do. They've got to go turn on their performance now to prove that. Again, I do say this a lot, to prove that we want to try and win this competition or get through to the next round at least.
Yeah.
But Russ, when I looked at the team right and I seen some of the decisions we were going to make, especially when we seen Johnson was going to be the only sub coming on, at
Yeah.
that point you were like, well, what's the point really in having Ben Rama? What's the point in having Corney? What's the point in having Danny Ings?
Yeah.
Obviously, he decided to change it up and bring the two of them on. Out of the three players that came on, I thought Corney was okay-ish. Danny Ings wasn't. Ben Johnson didn't have anything to do.
Actually, apart from obviously Ings missing from our yard, his link-up play I thought was all right. I thought actually, if anything, he was probably our most creative person in the last 15 minutes. It just seemed, but that's what I said. That's what I was saying to Chris on the disabled supporters. It's once you go beyond that 11, we haven't got anything different. We haven't got anything exciting. We haven't got anything that's going to change it, And I felt sorry for Mbama because he was trying, but again, so many times the overlap was available and he was cutting inside because he's a striker. That's what he does naturally. And actually, the ball out to Johnson would have been better 3 or 4 times in the second half. I'm not blaming the lad, but he plays in that position. He doesn't play in that position. So, then they kept Bowen. They should have left Bowen on the right hand side just to terrorise Prings because Prings is a very good left back. He's a player that we've been linked with as well. And I thought he'd actually, tough tackling to, left back, and I thought we did all right. And so we didn't give him enough. We didn't give him enough to think about. When we had Ben on, the Bristol City fan, he was saying, we're going to command that midfield. And as soon as he took Edson out for himself, that was it. Game was lost because it doesn't work. The midfield is so paper thin when he's off, and obviously he gets a silly yellow card and they risk of him getting sent off. But yeah, the players got what they deserved. I'm not going to put it. I've always picked the right side to win this game, and the players didn't do it. They didn't do it at all.
A tough one to take. A game, West Ham thought we were going to have a 2-week break. Now we don't. We go into the next 2-week break, and we've got a game in between. What do we do now for the next one, Ross? What do we do?
I have no idea. It's dependent, obviously, on how bad the injuries are to, the likes of Bowen, the likes of obviously Paqueta and Mavropanos. Because, as you said, I think without Mavropanos there, we miss anyone of the ability to put a decent ball in, decent passing at all. I thought we just looked sloppy. I thought second half particularly, we looked sloppy. We was giving away far too many balls, far too much. It was just, there's no control on the midfield. In terms of what we do, I think we have to wait and see. We've only got a few days turnaround, and to be honest, Bristol City are in ascendance, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do us over Ashton Gate, in all honesty. And that was their intention. Clearly, it was their intention to get a replay. Yeah. Because I
can't work it out, Russ. I can't work it out though because it's really confusing. And I think really, to be honest with you, games like this, right? So the game against Liverpool, the game against Fulham, this game today, and every now and then an odd game kicks in, and it really highlights where we are lacking. We need to really focus on someone else in, a couple of players, long term defensively, like who are very comfortable on the ball. We need to bring in another dynamic midfielder. Do you know what? People will slag me off for saying what I'm going to say, and I know this signing's not going to happen, but Conor Gallagher, I really think that would fit in so nicely in the middle of our park there. And I know people will say, "Oh, well, we've got this player," but I think that would fit in really nicely alongside Alvarez in the middle of the park. And then obviously we need to look at the fullback position because I don't know, mate. I don't know. There's definitely some issues that we need to look at bringing in.
There's definitely some issues, particularly on the right side for sure. Again, Soufal, anyone with any pace just can't cope with it. His legs are gone. And so, I thought you've Ben Johnson running now. Obviously, we sent bloody Tilo Kehrer bloody to what's now to Monaco, so that's buggered that one up, isn't it? If we could have waited a couple.
We are potentially losing Russ, so he might come back in a second. And if he does, we'll get him back on. Jordan Henderson, not from me. No, it's been shitting down snow all morning, winter out. You're on an out rampage, aren't you? Pure dross, to be honest. In the same week every week. Expected we didn't shut house a win. Moyes clueless. Squad was way too old. Muddy Bit says Moyes looks like he sleeps in the wheelie bin. Moyes is no tactician. Alan Beatty says, can't believe there was talk of Moyes getting another contract. If it weren't for signing the signings, he would have been gone months ago. Hope Bowen's injury ain't too bad. Let me just remove. No, let me bring me in. I'll remove Russ until he comes back if he can. Flogging the same limited players once again. This saw Moyes' too blinkered to be successful on multiple fronts. They were the better team. They were missing key players. They have a minuscule budget. They started several of the academy graduates. Full respect to the manager who does know West Ham from previously being involved with West Ham as well. But a draw was okay for some against Brighton. Didn't think that lineup was too bad. It was the style of play. The board do not care. What the fuck was that, lads? Honestly, so there you go. I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I'll let you compute the situation. Myself and Russell get to bang our heads together and come up with a kind of idea of what we're going to bring to you with regards to the game. We'll hopefully get some news on the Jared Bowen situation. Will he be fit? Will he not? Who knows? We've picked up an injury with Lucas Paqueta. What will that mean long term? Obviously, Dinos Mavropanos out as well, struggling with defensive options. So it's not a good day at the office for West Ham. It's a bad day at the office. We've got a replay, but it's a bad day at the office. So we'll see. And again, I'm not saying he's coming to us. I'm just saying he's the type of player I think would be really work well for us as well. Sounds like it got lucky. I fell asleep at the start of the game. Moyes will be happy. Booze at the end. Said it all to our club, Moyes, and take Sullivan with you. Blame Moyes on everything. With 500k so far in the kitty for transfers. Bristol didn't need to play well to get the draw, so negative tactics playing so deep. Moyes out. Thank you too. Thanks everyone. Thank you, Russ and Anton, for the show. No worries at all. Join us. We'll bring you all the updated stuff as we hear. We've got loads probably to talk through. Paqueta, Mavropanos, and Bowen potentially picking up a knock. We'll have a replay now. Ashton Gate next week. We thought we'd have a 2-week gap, but we don't. So we'll be back next week for football content for you. Sorry about that. 1-1 draw. Replay, third round, Ashton Gate, Bristol City. We need to go again. Let's do it. Fingers crossed we can. Tough though. Tough gig. Anyway, take it easy. And of course, come on your irons.